As you can see, everybody's just sitting down. After everybody sits down, we're gonna put the camera and we're gonna see some nice conversations. Get ready for it. There's gonna be some good ones. It's a very beautiful room, this one, by the way. Let's try to explain just how nice it is. And I'll be setting this one here. Okay.
Okay.
Just hold it.
Are we live yet?
Yeah, we're live already.
Okay. We're live. Hooray. Welcome, everybody. Welcome at RAAF, the third edition. We're also live on a live stream that is actually there. You can see the camera there. Well, a big welcome to all of you, and thank you for coming. Very happy to do this again, the third time. Who has been to RAAF 2, actually? And RAAF 1? Oh.
I've been to both.
And who has been to FAM, actually, which was the... Hey, nice. I see some overlap there. I think Sohan, you've been to all of them, yeah? Yeah, so I saw overlap there, yeah. Okay, well, this is my friend Chip.
Hello.
He'll be moderating. Yeah, let me just dive right in. So we have this agenda, 5 speakers for the first time. We had 4 speakers each time before. We'll have a break after the first 2 speakers, and then another short break because we're gonna end the live stream just before Johan starts his talk. Because yeah, he doesn't want his talk to be publicized for good reasons, because he's an undercover animal rights activist. And then there's going to be social time. There's drinks and food everywhere. Please use it. You paid for it with your donations, so that's yeah, it's yours. Yeah, just there's a toilet in the back. Yeah, you can find it very easily. It's just on the left. And yeah, I just want to share with you one quote, which is never doubt that a small group of people, thoughtful and committed citizens, can change the world. And I wanted to share that because Torben actually shared it on the first RAAF. It has always been that way. So yeah, I thought it was a beautiful quote. And so we're a small group of people, but we can achieve a lot if we band together. And so thank you for coming. And yeah, let's see what we can achieve. Also, I put a raccoon there because yeah, it represents my curiosity. Actually, this thing RAAF is also just really to scratch my curiosity. I'm an animal rights activist, and I really am always curious, how can I do better? How can I be more effective? And at the same time, that there is this thing that I also want to be able to keep doing it. So I want to have fun doing it. Like if I don't want to burn out, I don't want to, maybe I'm more effective if I go into politics, but that's just absolutely not my thing, for example. So I want to get inspired, and yeah, all of the speakers who are coming here today are gonna talk about topics that I, as an animal rights activist, have not touched. So I'm very curious, what they have to say. And then over to you, Chip.
Okay, well, before I introduce the first speaker, can we do a little bit of an exercise? Can we raise hands who here is vegan? Okay, amazing, amazing, love it. Okay, and who here has also done animal rights activism, like on the streets, on, okay. And how many of you have been impatient with the excuses that people come up with? Okay, love it. Okay, well, oh, there you go. That happens. Well, that's perfect because our first speaker, actually, I don't know if you guys have ever had this conversations with people saying, well, what about the poor countries? Well, luckily, our first speaker actually works with an organization that aims to deliver plant-based foods around the world, including poorer communities and poorer countries. He also works with an organization to help develop more veganic agriculture, which is another thing that we constantly get in our advocacy, you know. What about crop debt? Yeah. Please welcome Arjan Smith.
Here you go.
Right, good evening everyone. My name is Arjan and I'm very happy to be here today. I would like to tell you a little bit about Plenty Food. I've been involved with Plenty Food for 8 years, just a little bit more, after I became vegan. And yeah, let's start. So Plenty Food is a development organization which is different from other organizations. So this organization only supports plant-based food projects in developing countries. And we do this because we want to eradicate hunger. Yeah, still a lot of organizations work in different methods. And I think that this method is very important and very successful in what we do. But we do need to get momentum and grow even more. So we would really like to get your help on this. So 20 years ago, Plenty Food was started by 3 vegan men, Jeroen Koedam, Dick Steensma and Peter van der Einde. And they started Plenty Food because they saw other organizations giving away animals to help poor families. And they thought, oh, what are we doing? We are promoting animal husbandry while this is causing for a lot of problems here in the Netherlands. But this can also give problems over there and also is very sad for the animals involved. So 20 years ago we started and the motto of Plenty Food is plants can feed the world, and I truly believe that. A few years later, we organized from Plenty Food International, we organized a Plenty Food the Netherlands, and last year we organized a new organization called Plenty Food Germany, and we are now also working on a Plenty Food Belgium. And in these countries, we give lectures and information about the benefits of veganism and also get funding for the projects that we support. So this is Plenty Food, more or less. On the left, you see the board of Plenty Food. Also still 2 of the members, Dick and Jeroen, who started Plenty Food, are still involved in the board. And furthermore, we have a group of 10 volunteers, of which you see a few here, and one is also here. So yeah, this is basically what we try to explain with Plenty Food, is that when you grow animal food and you give it to animals, then you can only feed a few people. And when you make plant-based food, so you grow vegetables and fruit or grains, you can feed a lot of people and at the same time save land and maybe turn this back into nature, because we need more nature and more trees. And when you work with plant-based projects, this can be 5 to 10 times more effective, because when you, for instance, give grain to animals, they will take a lot of energy to just live, and only a little bit is turned into, for instance, meat or egg or dairy. So Plenty Food works with the principle that our projects should support people, should not harm animals, should be good for nature and environment. So we do not support projects where forests are cut, and preferably we also plant trees like fruit trees in our projects. And it should be healthy as well. So a big benefit is that a lot of people we work with, because of the industrialization, don't get enough vegetables and fruits. And by eating more vegetables and fruits, they become more healthy. Yeah. So Yeah, we are not the only development organization that you find in, for instance, the Netherlands. There are still a lot of other development organizations, but a lot of them support projects that give goats or chickens or rabbits to poor families to improve their health. But yeah, I think this is a really bad idea, and I will explain a little bit more about why this is a bad idea. So only 1 year after Plenty Food was started in 2006, the United Nations came with the report Livestock's Long Shadow, where they exactly explain what livestock has for impact on the developing world, like for instance the cutting of the forest, but also giving lots of problems with increasing the impact of climate change, and giving problems with having water or having enough food. So getting more livestock is giving more problems than helping with eradicating the problems. And only last month, the Compassion in World Farming came with this report saying that 2 billion people could be fed more if having animals fed with grains would stop. So yeah, we could grow with 10 billion people and we would still not have a problem as long as we stop eating animals. Now, one of the things is food that we give to animals that we can eat ourselves, but also water. So for growing the food that we give to the animals, we also need a lot of water. And fresh water is, especially in the countries where we live, like for instance Kenya or Tanzania, there is already a shortage on water availability. So when you give people animals, then they need much more water, and it's just impossible to keep up. And also here's a diagram of our world and data. You can see that of all the land use that we have in the world, 46% of the world is now used for agriculture, and of this 46%, 77% is used for keeping animals. And while so much area is used for keeping animals, only 18% of our calories are coming from animals, while only 37% protein come from animals, and 82% of our calories come from plants. So it is very inefficient to work with animals and livestock. So yeah, I think we really need to change this. And at this moment, we only use 23% of the agricultural land for feeding people. But if we change this to 40%, then we already can feed all the people that we have at this moment. And thus a lot of area, and the area that they have calculated is the same amount of area as the North America and South America together, can be liberated, again, can go back into forests or having houses. For instance, in the Netherlands, making houses is very difficult because there's not a lot of area to go around. So yeah, we can really change the way we work. Yeah, in short, when you eat meat, you also contribute to deforestation in the Amazon. A lot of people say, oh, I get meat from the cow that lives next door. But these cows, even though they have some part of their feed comes from the grass that is in the neighborhood, in the winter they get extra food that is mostly imported, soya from Brazil. And then the forest is cut for this. And all this area that has been changed from natural area into farmland has caused that now only 4% of the biomass of animals are wild animals, while 60% of the biomass on Earth consists of cows, camels, pigs, horses, but only 4% are wild animals. And humans take up 36%. And when you look at the same biomass of birds, the birds that we keep, like chickens and now turkeys, comprise of 70% is kept birds, and only 30% are wild animals. So if we want to change this, and I think we need to change this to stop the degradation of biodiversity, then we need to stop eating animals. These are some of my heroes that also more or less say the same thing. David Attenborough says, if we all ate only plants, we'd need only half the land we use at the moment. And Paul Watson says, there's just simply no room on this planet for 8 billion meat-eating, fish-eating humans. We either adapt or we die. And that is also one thing. A lot of animals, like for instance cows, are given grain and soya in for instance the winter when we don't have grass. But a lot of other animals like chickens and pigs are given fish by the sea, and Paul Watson is fighting to save our seas, but also a lot of fish is turned into fish meal to give to animals, and I think that's really sad. Yeah, and finally, I think we should also stop eating animals because of this speciesism. I think, I didn't think of it before, but Gary Yourofsky says that speciesism is the first form of hatred that we are taught. When we are small, we say, okay, you can play with a rabbit, and later on we say, oh, you can also eat the rabbit. But as a young child, you would never think, okay, I would eat a rabbit. So yeah, that's the first form of discrimination, and later all the other forms like sexism and other forms of racism follow that. Now, Plenty Food wants to eradicate hunger. So to be most effective, where do we need to go? Well, then we need to go to the countries where there is either hunger or malnutrition. And here's the global map of where there is hunger and malnutrition. So the red areas have the highest level of malnutrition. And this is the areas where we have projects. So currently we have 9 plant-based food projects. Here is Haiti, here is India, and the rest is in Africa. I will say a little bit more about the projects that we support. So together with an organization called Sadana Forest, we support fruit tree projects where poor families are given fruit trees and training to grow their own fruit. And we do this in Haiti, in Kenya, and Namibia. And over the last, we've done that since 2017. We've planted more than 15,000 fruit trees. In Uganda, we have 2 agricultural extension projects. For instance, we work with the ethical vegan community, of which Brenda is the project leader. She gives training and materials to farmers on how they can improve their work. And we are now looking also at butchers that have said that they want to grow vegetables and stop what they're doing. So we're looking now into it to start next year to have them change growing vegetables when they have land, and when they don't have land, we support them with getting a market stall so where they can sell the fruits and the vegetables that are produced by the other 40 farmers that we support. Also in Uganda, we support Vegan Village Society. There the project leader is Bob Rumanzi, and he supports 50 women's groups. So we support the materials like seeds and all kinds of materials that are used to work the land, and also work with irrigation. And they also give their advice on how vegetables can be grown most effective. And once a year, and we also support that, they organize a vegan village festival. So then they all eat together and they explain what the successes have been over the past year. And through this, they also get more women groups to attend for next year. Then we have two school garden projects in Tanzania and in Kenya. And there we work with schools, so children are taught how to grow vegetables at the school and how this can be done most effective. And at the end of the growing season, then the vegetables that are harvested are then used for cooking. So also a dietist will explain on how you make a good meal that is healthy. And I'm very happy with the work that we can do there, because yeah, I also had a school garden. Did anyone have a school garden here at school? No? I think it's very, very nice. And through this, I also worked in agriculture for 18 years. And now I can use what I learned there with these projects. I have a small video, if there is a time for 1 minute, 1.5 minutes to show it. So I have a short video on what we do in Tanzania, and I hope you like it. Can you start it from the start? Can you from the start?
Restart, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, this is not the beginning?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sure.
Thank you. So I think there's one more slide, but...
One more slide,
Oh.
This one?
Oh, too fast. Yeah. Yeah, and finally we also have 2 vegetable garden projects, one in Uganda and one in India. And there we work with an orphanage in Uganda, where the garden supplies the 25 children at the orphanage with vegetables and fruit. And the same we do for India, but there it's a women's organization called SWEET, Society for Women's Education and Economic Thrust, where women are helped, for instance, how to learn how to make clothing. But this garden also supplies their families with vegetables and fruit. So yeah, this is what we do with Plenty Food, and yeah, I think we're doing a great job, but we need to grow because meat consumption is only growing in the world. So if you want to support us or you want to join us, you're welcome. Thank you, and please come with your questions.
I'll just put it there.
It's okay. Should I take it? Or?
No, whatever.
Okay.
it's fine.
So what kind of help are you particularly looking for? Just volunteers or people with certain expertise? Do you search for something in your organization?
Yeah, it's very broad what we're looking for. So, for instance, we are looking for board members to get everything organized, but also organize events. For instance, we organize film evenings or benefit dinners or presentations like this. So yeah, people who also want to go to vegan markets and have a stall. So it's very diverse what you can do. I think everyone is welcome, and we can find a spot for you. Okay.
Got a question there.
I have 2 questions, because maybe I missed the part where I'm wondering what exactly kind of awareness you're trying to raise for these projects.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it more about the urgency, or is it to raise funds for these projects? What is it about that we organizing events
So
for?
yeah, basically I used to be a board member, and now I'm a fundraiser. So I also apply for funding with big organizations to help with, so they can send money so we can support the projects. But the talks that we have is also about awareness.
Yeah.
So I think that yeah, we could make a big change if everyone that we talk to would eat less meat or preferably go vegan. So that is also part of our
Okay, great. Yeah.
our aim. Yeah, thank you.
Might have another question if there's
Yeah.
time.
Sure,
In the second place, thank you for your great presentation.
thank you.
What I actually wanted to ask was wondering whether the reason for these projects to be vegan is really for the animals, or it's more about agriculture, land use, rainforest, as you mentioned also in the beginning. Just wondering if this is a topic, animal justice, speciesism in these kind of countries.
Yeah, well, first we started out as only a development organization to help people, and that is still our main objective. And from the start, we started with organizations, for instance, like a school or an orphanage or an organization that helped women that was not vegan. And then we would only support, for instance, a vegetable garden or a food forest. But more and more over the last few years, we are also looking for vegan organizations that are also promoting veganism and compassion for animals and for each other, because that's really more easy to work with, and we have the same goals. And we do get a lot of organizations that want us to help them, But we need to choose because we just don't have enough money to help everyone. And if we have the choice, then we choose for an organization that has the same ethics that we have. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Okay.
Have you gotten any reluctance because here in West, whenever you speak to West, or whatever, here, whenever we speak to somebody on the street, they always complain about the poor countries. When you go to the actual poor countries, do you hear complaints there, or is it that they're just thankful that they get to not oppress animals or that they get to have food?
Well, it's a little bit like here as well. Like a lot of the what do you call it? The culture that they have is really animal-based. For instance, we work with in Kenya with the Samburu, and Samburu are ancient cow herders. When Sadana Forest first started there and we supported them, there was a lot of reluctance. But last year there were a lot of problems with droughts. 4 rainy seasons didn't come, and a lot of animals like goats and cows died. And this also showed the people, okay, we are working with a system that we cannot keep. Their system works like this. A cow is like money, and the more cows you have, the more money and prestige you have. But they see now that this system is breaking down. So even though it has been very sad that it has been so dry and all these animals died, now they are becoming more open to look at different ways. And more and more people are asking, oh, can you help us to grow fruit trees? So,
oh, that's cool.
I have a question, sorry. Yeah, so I was wondering what kind of protein sources are you providing for these people?
Yeah, so we are looking at a balanced diet. So we're looking also into beans, and with the fruit trees we also supply nut trees, and we're really looking into that as well. And we are now also in contact with the Green Food Foundation, and they look at health situation in developing countries. And we really want to work with them together to see on how the people we work with, how they are doing and how this can be improved. So maybe in the future it will change, that maybe more beans will be grown. But yeah, we do look into that, yeah. Okay.
You stole my questions also, but I have another one, which is what kind of agriculture are you promoting? Are you promoting like organic agriculture, biocyclic, or, I mean, I'm sure like whatever can be done.
Yeah,
but yeah,
thank
just
you.
to know. Thank you.
Yeah, preferably we promote veganic farming. Also, in the Netherlands and Belgium we work with veganic farming. It's called the Network for Biocyclic Vegan Agriculture. So we do have a lot of experience with that. But not all the organizations that we work with are able to do that yet, because you do need a lot of plant material that you can make into compost, or mulch, or bokashi. So that is not available at all the places that we have. So most people, they still get dung from the animals that are around. But we always say we really don't want to support this when it comes from big factory farms. So it only comes from small farms. And preferably in the future we want everything to go veganic, but we're still in the process of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. And everything is organic, so we do not support chemicals, no chemical fertilizers. Yeah.
I was wondering what kind of crops do you introduce to the people? Because like food is very cultural bound. Like how does that process look like when you want to introduce a new crop?
Yeah, thank you for that question. So we, with the fruit trees, we try to first of all get fruit trees that already are there in the wild, and if that not is possible, then we look for trees that that the people already know and they eat. So yeah, basically that's it. And yeah, it's not like we buy fruit trees here and we send it there. So everything is propagated in these countries itself.
What would you say to somebody who says like we need cows and livestock for fertilizer? We cannot have a world without livestock because we need fertilizer.
Yeah, I'm truly convinced that veganic farming is the future, and I think that yeah, if we want to make the vegan world come true, then we need to grow our crops veganically. And if you look at, for instance, natural forests where everything grows very fast and very lush, they don't need dung like we put on our land. We put on so much manure that is really unsustainable and unnatural. So yeah, I think that the future is veganic, and even our projects like Vegan Village Society Uganda is converting into veganic farming. So I think it is possible. But yeah, you do need a lot of organic material to start. So if all the forests are cut in your area and everything is only focused on keeping animals, then it is difficult. So we do need some time to change. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Last question.
Well, if nobody has questions,
Okay.
then give another round of applause for
Thank you very
Arjen
much.
Smith.
Thank you.
First of all, it's very impressive what you do. I guess a lot of us are wondering about what the situation is in these countries, and it's kind of nice to see. And I guess it's somewhere in the middle where we expect, I don't know why I expected these people to be like, yay, plant-based food. Yeah. Anyway, our next speaker, she was raised on a small dairy farm. She studied philosophy, and she wrote a book for high school students which includes animal ethics and environmental philosophy. Chances are that if you're a high school student over the age of 16, and if you studied philosophy, then you definitely got her book. Please welcome Marloes Boere. Can I put this on?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Marloes, and I live in Amsterdam with my wife and my 5-year-old daughter. I am a philosopher. I'm going to talk a little bit about the book I wrote. I'm also going to talk a bit about my background story, because Chuck already mentioned I grew up on a dairy farm. My father was a dairy farmer. His parents were dairy farmers. The parents of my mother were dairy farmers, and probably a couple of generations back, but I don't know exactly how many generations you have to go back until you find another dairy farmer. So also many of my uncles, some of my uncles still own dairy farms. So I really grew up with this like very explicit speciesism. There was always something of being uncomfortable with animal suffering, but it was always talked about, well, they're not humans. And if you would see like items of animal activists on the television, I remember very vividly that my father would say, they talk about if they are humans, they are not humans. So that was very very explicitly said so. But I was, from a young age, already a bit concerned about climate change, so that was the reason I became vegetarian, to reduce my CO2 emissions. And there were a couple of things that happened in my life that really made a very big impact and changed the whole story around for me. And the first thing was I had a friend at university, and she was raised in the city. She was raised in Amsterdam, and she was a vegetarian. But she ate a lot of cheese, like a lot. And she was very proud vegetarian. She thought she was doing really well for the animals. And I was like, do you know how cheese is made? Like, if you don't want animals to die, then you cannot eat cheese. And she was like, what are you talking about? Cows give milk. Like, so I sort of explained the situation to her, like how cheese is made. And she was like shocked, like the fact that most calves are sent to slaughter, and she really never thought about it. And sort of seeing her response made me question the whole way we treat animals. But another thing happened. And one of my uncles, he is an organic farmer. My father had a small farm, like around 50 dairy cows, which was actually big when he started, but he didn't expand, so now it would be really very small. But I also had an uncle who's an organic farmer, and it's not required for organic farmers to leave the calves with the mothers, but some of them do it. So he one day decided, I want to try this. So he didn't separate the calves immediately from their mothers and kept them all in the herd. And this was so strange to me, because we have always been telling, yeah, we need to separate the calves immediately, otherwise it would be really cruel, because if we take them later, then the mother would really mourn their calf. And I think I was 9 years old, and we bought a cow from someone who has actually been with her calf longer than like 2 hours. And I think for 2 nights, none of us could sleep because the cow was crying for her calf. So we were like really confirmed, like it's very cruel if you keep the calf too long with their mom. So I thought it was really strange that my uncle, out of animal welfare, decided to keep the calves with their mother. So I really started to think about it, and then suddenly sort of the whole story flipped for me. Because I suddenly realized that we are taking away calves from their mom because we want to prevent a strong emotional bond from emerging. Like what? Like, why do we think that we have the right to prevent like a very strong emotional bond and connection? So sort of I suddenly saw how much human superiority was in that whole story, how we really thought that we were so above them that we could prevent them, that we were allowed to prevent them from having family connections, from having bonds with their children, that we felt that we were allowed to deny them motherhood, which is such a primal, important thing for mammals. So that's really like my whole worldview changed, and I think it's sort of like this wall in my head, this very speciesistic wall, like broke through, and it was really like I had many childhood memories, for example, of calves that I was attached to, but that were taken to slaughter, or similar experiences that I never really thought about again. It wasn't like I had forgotten them, but I just never thought about it, and they all resurfaced, and sort of I had to grieve all these experiences. So it was 10 years ago. I was, I think, 25, and it was at the end of my studies. And it took me a couple of years to see, oh, that's why my study program, my master's program, took a year longer, because it just took a lot of time for me to sort of digest that and process that. What really helped was I realized, oh, I really need to re-anchor my own relationship with animals. So I went to the United States for 10 weeks and worked on a farm sanctuary. And it was actually really special because for the first time I could see how a male dairy cow is actually, I don't know, in Dutch it's actually only used for the females. So yeah, and not really a bull because it was an ox. Yeah. So like I had seen, of course, many dairy male calves, like many, but I've never seen one grown up, like how big they get and how amazingly how they have this presence. It was really weird to suddenly see like 3 of these giant animals, and I've seen so many babies in my lifetime, but never how they are when they are big, because like cows were always artificially inseminated at my farm. So that was really nice, and I felt to be there for like 10 weeks work with the animals, and it really became a career path for me. So I worked at ProVeg for a while. I worked at Parts for the Animals, but I'm also really someone who likes doing her own projects. And in philosophy in the Netherlands, if you are a secondary student and you are doing either higher general secondary education or pre-university secondary education, in some schools you can choose philosophy as an elective. And if you choose it as an elective, then you also have to take central exam in it. And with some topics, with some subjects, they change the topic of the central exam every 4 years. And now for HAVO, higher general secondary education, they were making a new exam topic. And actually the Society of Philosophy Teachers had requested that the topic would be animal ethics and environmental philosophy. And my wife, she's a philosophy teacher, and she always said, like, maybe I want to write the textbook with a new exam topic. And then we were both like, okay, we really want to do this because we want to, if like children are being taught about, teached about speciesism and animal ethics, then someone should explain it to them, at least in the textbook, that really understands the topic and so is vegan, because otherwise I feel you don't really understand it. So we did, and it was actually really nice because when there's a new exam program, there are sort of bullet points presented with what children need to know. For example, children need to be able to explain speciesism. The students need to know what human exceptionalism is, so the idea that humans are unique and superior, and they also need to debunk it and stuff like that. And what we really wanted to do is make sure that this was just, that it wasn't only an abstract subject for them, but that speciesism has real implications in our society, and also if you see the inherent injustice of it, you need to change your diet. So that was of course not required for the, or it could have been sort of required for them to know, because they need to learn about Peter Singer, for example, but they didn't have to, they're not required to know that Peter Singer promotes veganism, which I thought is a bit weird because it's such a logical conclusion. But so we incorporated all of that in the book. And this is the first year that students, philosophy students at the secondary schools are being taught this subject, are being, they are doing this exam, and they will do it for 4 years. So this, so every year from now on, this will be the exam topic. And I think it is really important. So what I really like is that there are 1,500 students that are taking exams, and there are also 1,500 books sold. So yeah, most teachers decided to teach this with our book, which is really nice. And also we try to write it that hopefully other teachers who don't teach philosophy or teach philosophy but in another field can also use it. A friend of ours, he teaches political philosophy, and there are also some chapters in it about political rights of political representation of animals. So she also uses her book, which is really nice. And for me, it's also, so I went vegan when I was 24, almost 24, yeah, 23, 24. And I think it's really important to start with the youth, because I remember working at Party for the Animals, and during lunch break, I thought, let's make a round. When did you become vegetarian? And I was the only one who became vegetarian as an adult. Like all my colleagues became vegetarian as children. And what you see that like most identity questions are sort of, people don't really change their identity a lot after they turn 25. So of course it is possible that you have a huge identity change or become vegan after you're 25, but it is way rarer to change your idea about yourself. So I think we really need to start young. I also noticed that with my daughter, it is like, I don't have to explain. I remember that she had no idea about animal agriculture or what eating animals was, but she did know that she was vegan, because that we used to sometimes say we don't eat this because it's not vegan. And she was almost 3 years old, and some friend of me came over. He was also an animal rights activist, and it was about veganism, and he said to her, "Oh, you're also vegan?" And she said, "Yes." "Yeah, because that's way nicer for the animals, right?" She said, "Yes, because animals also don't like eating meat." So later I sort of had to explain to her that meat was actually made of dead animals. But it was like, her response was, "But why don't people just eat food?" And I thought that made so much sense to just see it like that. So I think children are not born speciesists, they are raised, and I hope, well, children of like 16, 17 will have this as their exam topic. I hope it will make an impact on them. I think there's a higher chance because they are still young. So yeah, that's a bit about my life and the project I've been working on. I've brought a couple of books, so if you want to look into it, if you want to buy one, that is possible in the break. And for now, are there any questions?
I have a question. I actually have multiple questions, but let's start with putting this in the school program. Has there been any reluctance from parents or maybe authorities saying, "How dare you teach children about speciesism" or something?
Yeah, so not yet. I think as soon as the party of Caroline van der Plas knows about it, I think they will probably make a fuss about it. Because like in academic philosophy, in animal ethics, it is like common ground that meat eating is immoral. So it's also not like there's also not a serious argument in our book that meat eating is moral. Like we discuss arguments why humans are unique and superior, but we discuss it more like in an historic matter. So philosophers used to think this, but actually since Darwin and Gruen, we actually no longer seriously believe this. So yeah, it is a book, and it is also like in the official school program that there is no serious moral justification for eating animals, which I think is awesome. I'm really happy with that that it was constructed this way. So no, I haven't heard of parents. Some philosophy teachers, yes. Some teachers feel like it was too much of an indoctrination. And I said at a teacher conference, at that time I still worked for Party for the Animals, and that people didn't really like that. They felt it was a bit, that I was a bit too political. But it was, but some of them also said, well, after I read the book, my worries were sort of gone, and I think it's a very good book, so that was nice. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I had more questions than I got. Like, how do you see, like, have you noticed any impact in the children after teaching them speciesism? Like, I mean, I'm not sure if you actually, I don't think you actually work with them, right? You said your partner does.
Yes.
Do you think that when we teach them speciesism, is it the same as when we do activism on the streets with people and they laugh, or they're like, oh, this person thinks animals are the same as humans or something?
So it is definitely not the case that like every class he teaches that they're all vegan after she has
Okay.
teaches. But yeah, does it have an impact? Definitely. Yeah, of course. She has students who turn vegan afterwards, or who tell her that she always shows this video of Melanie Joy about carnism, and that has a really big impact on them as well. I thought I teached a short period of time at an MBO, and there was actually already one vegan in my class, and there was another vegetarian, and she also turned vegan, and they also did an internship at ProVeg at that time, so that was really nice. But there were also other students who were just like, yeah, whatever, you know. Yeah, so you cannot reach them all, I think, but you can always reach a couple, and I think, yeah, I mean, that's already like huge, because they're at the beginning of their careers, so it could also not only have an impact on their diet, but also what they are going to do with their life. Yeah, and actually, yeah, for one student, I think it really has, because he, that's a student of my wife. He really became very passionate for animals, and also for the environment after her. He contributes to philosophy lessons also for it, and he now has a career in, I think, sustainable gardens, something like that. But it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Nice.
Arjan?
Yeah, thank you very much for an interesting story, also about teaching. But I was wondering a little bit, with the holidays coming on, Christmas, family dinners. You come from a background of dairy farmers. How do they look at the way you turned at this moment?
Yeah, so actually when I came back from the States, so when I was there for 10 weeks, both my sisters and my mother, they stopped eating meat, which was like, you did what when I was, like I talked about this, but I think it's sometimes very good to give people some space. So my original household is very vegan friendly, I would say. My father quit dairy farming, and he says that sort of my transition to veganism really contributed to it. He now works with elderly people. They have a day activity center, my parents, for people with dementia at the previous farm. So that's really cool. Some people from my family defriended me on Facebook. There's also someone which I thought who really doesn't want to sit at the same table as me.
They don't want to sit at the same table as you?
Exactly, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, but it is really like such an attack on their identity, and if you want to like... So there are some family members that really have big issues with it. My godfather, he was until recently a dairy farmer. He didn't quit because he no longer believes in dairy farming. He quit because he couldn't get along with his business partner. But we can have good conversations about it. We can sort of, on a respectful level, talk about it. Yeah, but he is, I don't know, he has a lot of, I think it is, for vegans, a bit hard to understand what farmers mean when they say they love their animals. And I think it means different things. It means different things, but there is definitely love in, at least as I have seen it with my father, in the caretaking and the caregiving. In helping a cow deliver a calf, you know, those things are just, even, yeah, it sounds weird, but you do because they do horrible things to them. I don't want to excuse that, but there is also, in it, there is also sort of a caring relationship or something. So, yeah, I don't know. It is, your question was, how did it impact my relationship with my family? Something like that, right? Yeah, so it really depends on the family member, yeah.
Thank you.
Is there time for another question?
Yeah.
All right. So, Marloes, I think it's so amazing that you wrote a book. That's like a life achievement. Congratulations.
Thanks.
And you're just giving this presentation like, oh, I wrote a book, but wow, you know, you can be really proud of yourself. I was wondering, now that you actually wrote a book, do you think I'm going to write another book, or is this like warming you up for more inspiring stuff or to work with younger people? Are you thinking about that already, or are you just for now letting this be and giving it some time?
Yeah, so definitely I'm giving it some time, definitely. I am, like, there is just this one student, like, she failed her exam last year, and now she needs to do it again, but she needs to learn a whole new topic, so I'm sort of her on the side teacher, because the philosophy teacher of that school took his pension, no longer a teacher. So that's actually really nice. I talk to her once a week, and it's nice to sort of work with your own book. Yeah, so I really, that's sort of a side, like hobby almost, I would say. Yeah, I would definitely, I'm considering like teaching more about the subject because I really like it, but I don't aspire to be a philosophy teacher per se. Write another book. I always find it really nice to talk with vegans who grew up in animal agriculture. So sometimes I think maybe I should just interview a couple and see if it leads to something. But I'm not sure yet. So maybe. Yeah. Thanks. And thanks for your kind words. Yeah, that's really sweet. Oh, that's kind.
We have time for one more question if somebody wants to ask a question. Okay.
You talked a little bit about that, in my own words, you just had a little narrow view about what working with cows was back in the days in the dairy farm. And when you actually was working at the sanctuary, you saw the difference. And do you think this is also the case with farmers in general? That they also have this view, this narrow-minded view?
So I don't know. I'm not sure if I really understand.
Like you were explaining that you only saw just one part of how dairy animals are specifically, and you really didn't know about how they would grow up to be.
I think it's very interesting because I think, and my father still will, he sees himself, and I think he is, as an animal lover, like someone who really likes animals. But always, and also is also sort of concerned with animal suffering, but then all the suffering that doesn't, the suffering that happens on his farm is sort of very tragic. You can do nothing about it, and sort of necessity. And then everything what happens outside, also on other farms, is very bad. So we would always see it as very bad. The chickens were cramped into cages, or that like the calves were sold and would never see any daylight again. That was also seen as something that actually wasn't good. But yeah, we couldn't really help it because like consumers want cheap fuel. So it wasn't our fault. It was never our fault. And we would raise our cows very properly because they were allowed to go outside. Yes, yeah. There was a way. Yeah, and I think if you grow up on another farm, they probably have the same sort of narrative, but that was our narrative, yeah.
Okay, thank you everyone. Give her another round of applause for Marloes Dora. Is your book also suitable for adults? Right?
Yes, definitely, definitely. Yeah, it's in Dutch though.
It's in Dutch, yeah. No English version?
No, no, not yet.
Well, that's a good way to learn Dutch, I guess. Yeah. Can I have the microphone? Yes. Thank you. So we're going to have a little break. We're going to have a 10 minutes break. There's some water, there's some bathroom, and there's some snacks. Yeah, so if you want to go in a certain way, I would first go to the bathroom, then water, then snacks, because, you know, I don't know. I would just do it that way. And see you in 10 minutes, not more. We're going to have a couple more speakers. It's going to be amazing speakers, so stick around. See you in 10 minutes. That's it. Thank you. Everyone, we got 10 minutes, everyone. I'm gonna hang out with you. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna hang out with you, everyone, for 10 minutes. How did you guys enjoy the conversation so far? Hello, Donna. Hello, Salgan. Nice to see you. Yeah, so it's conversations, right? It's some presentations. We're seeing some people having conversations. Interesting conversations, right? Like, I never really expected, like, I didn't know anything about plant-based donations in other countries. I thought it was really cool about the presentation about philosophy. Jason got, this is Chip's last stream now of today. I saw Jason got what you're doing. Oh, look, somebody's a green substance is a little bit triggered about our level of intelligence. That's okay, stick around. Yeah, let me show you a little bit how it's around here. Maybe you can see a little bit of how it's here. I'm just gonna raise the tripod, so like there's a lot of people, as you can see. It's kind of cool. It's a lot of people just minding their own business, kind of cool, chatting. So if you're ever in Amsterdam, make sure you get this RAAF thing, huh? This was, by the way, all Lodewijk's idea. He's got good ideas. He just likes to do this kind of stuff. He likes to set up places and meetings where people interact. Grab yourself a snack. Sabi Coops, I would love to. Let me show you some snacks that I just discovered today. I don't know if you guys ever seen this. I haven't seen them. This is the first time I've seen them today. It's like, look at this. Some chips-like thing. Freaking delicious. I think the most interesting chat. I think the most interesting chat will be the one at the end, but the one with the undercover things. But I cannot show that, unfortunately. Love you, Chip man. You look happy, and vegans at the end of the day just care about animals. It's all good. Yeah, we do just care about animals, and I saw you, green substance, trying to insult us about our intelligence. I'll have you know that I'm a very intelligent person. A lot of people here are very intelligent. I understand you might feel a little bit triggered and a little bit insecure about your choices, but at the end of the day, you can also choose differently. You don't have to exploit animals. You see, this stock that was this last stock, Marloes, she grew up on a dairy farm. She saw the practices. Kind of sucks. Don't be part of that stuff. And everyone, if you happen to have questions, I can ask the questions for you, but you have to ask them at the end, of course. But you happen to have questions, yeah. Axel, I saw you asking me questions, but I couldn't answer because there's no typing in this app. I was waiting to do my outreach to finish this, but Mall is starting to pick up, so I'll start soon. I'll be out all day though. Love you, proud of you. Axel, thank you. Start your stream. Don't worry about it. Everybody, stick around if you want to have questions, if you want to see more of it. If not, you know, this whole live will be available offline afterwards. But you know, it's kind of cool. It's cool to have more people. Why not? Calling someone else insecure as you're in groups is childish. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. We have all gathered here to discuss what the best way is to advocate for animal rights. That's why we're all here. We're here to discuss the best way to advocate for animal rights. We don't really care about what you guys think of us or any stuff like that. We're not here to discuss if veganism is the right thing to do. We know it's the right thing to do. We're just here to discuss how to become better animal rights advocate, how to get more people to understand the perspective of animals. Here, here. Animal abuse is wrong, and I'm an animal lover too. Well, a green substance is if you're not vegan, then you're an animal abuser, huh? So where are you now? I'm here, what do you mean? What's the schedule for the rest of the evening? So we have 2 more talks. We have a talk from, let me get my my thing.
Push this on.
I'm sorry. So we got 2 more two more speakers for the rest of the live stream. Then there's another one which unfortunately I'm going to have to end the stream before we do that. We have another speaker that will speak about pigeon rescue, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if you've ever seen how pigeons have this little tiny ropes around their fingers. Sometimes they have some fingers missing, and she's going to tell us what we can do about it, which I like that. And then we have a food engineer and somebody that's going to talk to us about how we can change minds through food. So that's also going to be interesting, and we'll see what's going on from there. What a lovely, cozy venue. B12 Babe, if you're ever in Amsterdam, join us. It is genuinely a pretty cool vibe. People are pretty cool. I'm hanging out with you guys, but it's genuinely a pretty cool vibe. Don't forget to hail Chip Stash. UTOPS, 2 more days. Not even, I think I might cut it tomorrow. I can't stand it anymore. It's so annoying. Like, I can't explain it to you just how annoying it is, because, you see, it's so long that I'm doing what Axel does with this thing. It's quite annoying. 2 more days, 2 more freaking days. Ugh, I might cut it tomorrow. I won't be so strict probably. And by the way, if you're here and you're wondering, why the hell do I have a mustache? It's because it's for men's health. I haven't talked about it at all during this whole month. I wore this mustache, I grew this mustache, but I haven't talked about it. Axel is the stash pro for sure, yeah. The thing about it is that as a man, most men also struggle with mental health, struggle with physical health. So, you know, in today's world, growing a mustache for November, I guess it's supposed to remind you that, hey, we're all here. Communicate with us. So communicate with us, yeah. Keep it, let it grow further. I don't think I will. No, it's too annoying. Is there a Women's Health Month, Chip? I have no clue, but I hope there is. I don't know. Even this, it's not a Men's Health Month. It's just a campaign done for. I think it was a campaign done for prostate cancer for men. Families in Hawaii are praised by the government for killing 10 deer a day. Those deer feed their family. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that is that deer are sentient beings who don't want to be killed. Families in Hawaii are praised by the government for killing 10 people a day. Those people feed their families. What's wrong with that? Imagine saying that. Simple as that. I know how annoying a stash can be. Try a full beard. Yeah, I think that's my next trial beard, huh? It's okay, Chip. You know you spoke out of words and don't want to own your words. I don't know what you mean that, Ryan, but that's okay. You can think of whatever you want about me. I don't really care. Saying plants have consciousness gets you timed out here. Well, probably it should, because that's a really stupid statement to say that plants have consciousness. Imagine that. Imagine thinking plants have consciousness. By the way, how do you like my shirt, huh? Plant power. It's a cool shirt, huh? It's a shirt that I actually have on my merch store, but this is the first shirt that I ever made, and I really like it. It's a really cool one. Just a question, serious one. What will you do once normal vegan food is not available anymore? Why would that happen? First of all, vegan food, pasta, rice, beans, lentils, chickpeas. All of these will always be available. What are you talking about? Oh, somebody said gay. Thank you. Whenever somebody says gay on this channel, we say hooray, and we say thank you, because gay means cool. What about Triangle Earth? Yeah, we're all on Triangle Earth, huh? Didn't even read my first statement saying they are invasive species eating vegetation from native species. Oh, I'm sorry, like a doctor. What are the most invasive species on this planet? Do you use butter? No, I respect animals, of course not. Such inspiring lectures. Yeah, right? Like the speakers have been really cool.
Chip, let's start again.
We're starting again?
Yeah.
Okay, we're starting again, everyone.
Hey, and if you have some questions, just put them in the chat when the Q&A starts, and we'll make sure to get one question of the live stream in the Q&A.
Yeah. I'm gonna put this over here. You're gonna see me, and then I'm gonna move you in the same spot as we were before. Okay. Okay. You're gonna see me. You're gonna see how to stop an event. Okay. Let's see. Let's try it. Put your hand on your head if you can hear me. Put your hand on your belly if you can hear me. Put your hand on your ears if you can hear me. Okay, nobody can hear me. This isn't working, everyone. We're gonna try something else. So we gotta start, right, by the way? Okay, everyone, we gotta start. Thank you so much. Take your places. But I think you also should stop the music, huh? I think that will help more. Why Chip? You can't see him. Well, normally that works. So that was a thing that apparently on camps it works. Put your hand on my thing. Put your hand on your head if you. Yeah. Why Chip? You can't see me. Utops, I can't see you. No. Oh, were you doing it, Utops? Were you doing it? Nice. I love it. Okay, everyone, take your seats. Let's continue with the speakers, please. Everybody ignoring me, man. I don't have enough authority. I need my megaphone. Oh, that would have been a good one, my megaphone. Time for the other speakers, everyone. You need some form of Okay, so now I'm at the height of Dutch people. Now that I'm as tall as a Dutch person, you guys can listen to me. Goedemiddag, everyone. There you go. That's the best Dutch that I know. So thank you. I'm no longer Dutch. My height is normal. Thank you. Okay, I hope everyone has had some amazing snacks. I hope you tried the curly little things. I just tried them today. Amazing. Our next speaker, person who works with SOS DAUF, and she's a pigeon rescuer, and she's gonna teach us all about pigeons and you know, these little birds that are cool that we see all around our cities and how we can help them out. So give a round of applause for Nikki Wagner.
Yeah. Okay, good. Hi, everyone. Nikki. And I'm going to talk about this. Please take a second to read the sentences under the title. It has something to do with thinking and doing. And it's a bit strange for me to talk about doing because I'm a big thinker. So here I am going to do. So we're going to start by doing. We're going to do an exercise, and I want you all to do it with me. When I give the signal, we're going to close our eyes for 15 seconds, and we're going to do a visualization exercise. So I want you to close your eyes when I give the signal, and then you're going to visualize a situation from your daily life which is really straining your energy, really making you tired. For example, working behind a computer screen the whole day, being in the supermarket with the TL lights, being stuck in a crowded train, being in traffic, something which is really like costing you a lot of energy. You just don't like it, but you have to deal with it because this is the world we live in. And just feel how that makes your body feel, how it makes your brain feel. Let's do it for 15 seconds, all right? Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Close your eyes. All right, let's open our eyes. I didn't like that at all. I was thinking about my work behind the computer screens that I do at Stichting Varkens in Nood and Stichting Dier en Recht. They're two organizations that help animals in need. And it's a lot of computer work, draining. I don't have unlimited speaking time, which is a good thing because I would speak a lot. But we're going to do another one. And this time we're going to close our eyes again for 15 seconds. And I really want you to visualize being with an animal, your own animal, if you live together with one, like your cat or your dog maybe, or an animal that you know, like your sister's dog, or an animal that you sometimes pass by, like that horse in the field or your neighbor's chickens. And if you don't know any animal, then just an animal that you would really like to know. And look at its eyes, feel like its breath. Is it calm? Is he asleep? Is it moving? Is it gliding through the water? And just feel how that makes you feel, your body, your brain. Really see it in front of you and feel it. Okay? Okay. 3, 2, 1. Close your eyes. All right, let's open them. I like that one a lot more. Yeah. It's about how we are stuck in this Western world that we live in with screens and a digital world and traffic and supermarkets and trams, and this is our life. And that's so strange because I'm not a biologist, I'm not a philosopher, I don't know, but I do know that we as humans have more to do with nature than with a digital world. We're not digital. I'm not AI. I'm not a robot. I'm something that came from nature, right? So we have this connection with nature, and it's so natural to be in nature and to be with animals. But when are we in nature and with animals? We need to go to the beach. We need to look for animals to be with them. But it's so much more natural to be with animals, and what it does to your nerve system. Like imagine petting your dog or your cat. I think there are studies that prove that when you live with animals, you actually live to be healthier. I wish everyone would have a relationship with an animal. And luckily, we do have animals around us, a lot of them. Right here in Amsterdam, there's 15,000 of them. 15,000, and you'll never guess, it's pigeons. I'm not a bird lover. I didn't grow up as a bird lover. I don't really have an opinion about birds, I guess. Well, now I do, but I used to not. I think the most memorable thing is the song Feed the Birds from the movie Mary Poppins. You know, feed the birds, tuppence a bag. I'm not a singer. But that song, I really like that song, but that's the most memorable thing that I have with birds. So talking about pigeons, it's quite strange. But they are here around us, and we don't have the luxury to always do what we want to do. I want to rescue horses. I want to have a dog shelter. I can't. I have limited resources, and I'm living here. So what can I do? I can help pigeons, because there's 15,000 around us, and they need our help. They do because they're homeless, and they're beggars. Yeah, it's true. It sounds really strange, but they're not wild birds. They are actually literally homeless. Like, you can picture them as a homeless person in dirty clothes, hungry and cold, because they are homeless. We made them homeless. Can we go to the next slide? This is the relationship we used to have with pigeons. We found out 6,500 years ago that they were really interesting, special birds, not just any bird. We found out that they have an amazing sense of direction. We don't know how, and we still don't know how. It might be in their beak, a specific magnetic field from which they can always find their way. But as I said, I'm not a biologist, and still scientists are not sure what it is. But they always find their way home. They have an amazing sense of direction. And people found that out 6,500 years ago in the old Mesopotamian area. And then later on, the old Egypt. They have found pictures in the Egyptian tombs of pigeons portrayed as some gods of direction. And then in the old Persian Empire, they built these amazing structures. And they built these bird towers, houses, because they said, we want these birds around us. They're special. They have a good sense of direction. They can deliver our messages. But they also have great poop. And that poop is a great fertilizer. So let's build them beautiful towers. Every pigeon can have its own little space. They can sit in there. And pigeons don't like to make their nest dirty like a lot of animals. So what they will do is they'll scoop their butt over, and then they'll poop down, and not in their own place. So the poop will fall right in the middle, and then there comes a guy or a girl scooping up the poop, and then using it as fertilizer. And that happened 6,500 years ago up until 1900s. So super handy and great sense of direction, quite chill birds. So we had this really special connection to them. Ancient Greece also used them as messengers to let people all across the island know, and other islands, what the outcome of the Olympic Games were, who were the winners. They would just send a pigeon to let them know, you know. That's really cool. And then these two pictures underneath are from the Middle Ages. A lot of landlords had pigeons because poop, because message delivery, occasionally also for meat. But there was definitely respect for pigeons and respect for the family structures that they live in, because all the pigeon houses were big enough for the whole family. And then in the First World War and in the Second World War, they were heroes. They sent messengers to save all battalions. I guess you've heard those stories about the pigeon heroes. This is a picture of one of them. And then after the war, telephones came. And then internet came. And then artificial fertilizer came. Who needs a pigeon, right? And then this typical human behavior repeated itself. We don't need them anymore, so whatever. We kick them out. That really disgusts me. But we just kicked them out and made all of them homeless. We didn't provide like, oh, thank you for your service. Now you can live in this beautiful pigeon tower. No, we just kicked them out on the streets. And ever since then, pigeons have been homeless because they need a home. They're homebound. They're not wild like seagulls or like crows or any other bird. We made them homeless and we put them out on the streets without food, sufficient food. More than half of the pigeons on the street are hungry, suffering from malnutrition, diseases. And then there's this terrible human trash. Hairs, a lot of human hair, but also nets, from example, these little nets that you can buy tangerines in. But also fabrics from fabric markets, like on the Noordermarkt and the Nieuwmarkt. All this trash is flying around, like when you cut fabric, these little fibers come off. And the pigeons walk on the floor. They don't hop like some birds, they walk, so their toes will get stuck in the threads. And it gets worse and worse and tighter and tighter. And next slide, please. Take a look at that. Stage 1 on the left, stage 2, and then stage 3. That's so painful. Can you just look at that second picture with those open wounds and imagine it to be around your fingers? It's really terrible. There's so many pigeons with string foots, guys. Please start watching and then you'll see it. It's horrible. And then you can see the first one. It's not tight yet, and it's really easy to cut or to take it off. So we could do that, right? We could take it off. We could de-string pigeons. You don't need to have an education for that. You could just get a pigeon and then de-string it and set it free again and prevent this and this from happening. Now, once this happens, the pigeon often loses toes, cannot walk anymore, cannot reach its food, and probably will be in a more difficult position and simply said just die. Most pigeons die within the first year because they can't make it. They can't reach food. And then when they have some limitations like that, they cannot move around. They're just in pain. They're usually limping. They hide under benches because they cannot maneuver through all the legs of people walking around. So yeah, we can de-string pigeons, but to get a pigeon, you need to get it to want to come close to you. Now, how can we do that? There's one word. It has 4 letters. It starts with an F. It ends on a D. Let's say it all together. 3, 2, 1. Food. Yes. I have a question. If you think the answer is no, you can cross your arms. If you think the answer is yes, put up your thumbs. Do you think it is legal in the Netherlands to feed pigeons? Yes or no? I see mixed answers. Thank you. I'm going to show you on the next slide some information. I want you to read it, and then I'm going to ask the question again. Please take a second to read it. There's 2 laws which say something about pigeon welfare. The Omgevingswet and the Wet Dieren. I selected the text literally from those laws that can give us an answer to our question. So I'm going to ask the question again. When you know this, do you think it is legal to feed pigeons? Thank you. So it isn't legal because overal is er een voerverbod. There's a how do you say that in English? Who can help me out? Sorry?
Prohibition, you mean?
Yeah, like it's not allowed to feed pigeons. Yeah, restrictions. There's a lot of signs that say don't feed pigeons. It's not legally allowed. Well, actually it is legally allowed because if we are law-abiding citizens and doing what is our duty, we should assist an animal in distress. And if we look up, we should help an animal to not have it suffering unnecessarily. So if we see a pigeon with string foot, we need to de-string it before it gets to the next stage. And if we see a hungry pigeon, we should prevent it from starving to death, right? Well, that's my interpretation. But the law just forgot about 6,500 years of sheltering and living together with these birds. They just made them homeless. Who cares? I care. I think a pigeon deserves help like every living being does. And actually, I'm going to show you how to do it, because I know that there's a pigeon around here, and I'm going to try to capture it for you. But it can be difficult, it can be tricky. So I've heard that there's a little bird here, and her name is Tammy. Say hi, Tammy. Very good. So Tammy lives in a flock, and she really likes food. She doesn't really like people. And I'm trying to go and find Tammy and get her, because I see that she has string foot. So what do I need? You already said it, I need food. Let's get some food. And I'm close to a bench because I need to sit when I de-string. And I have my stuffies ready. So let's see if we can get Tammy, because I'm not an expert. I didn't have an education for this. I just started doing it until it worked, right? So I'm gonna, sorry?
What are you feeding?
I'm feeding bird food. You can also feed lentils and all kinds of seeds. There's so many stuff they love. They love peanuts. If you have a difficult case, get peanuts and it will work. But peanuts are expensive. Okay, so Tammy will probably walk away, right? So now she's turning around because she's interested. She's like, ooh, there's food. But now she sees me coming, so she's going away again because she knows I'm coming. So I'll wait until she is not looking at me, because they can't look up. They don't see on top of their head. I'll not come from the side. I'll not come from there. I'll be behind her. And then I need to put food in this hand. And then I need to hold her with 2 hands, because now she's very stressed. And I'm going to press her against my body. I'm really showing how I'm doing it with pressure, right? She's really stressed now. So I'm quickly going to sit down. I have my supplies with me. It's a very stressful moment, everyone. I'm going to cover her head with a towel. I'm not going to kill her, don't worry. A lot of people, when I do this, are looking at me like, what is she going to make, pigeon soup? Why is up, you know? Really, really, they look at me like I'm a complete idiot. So I'm going to put her in my lap. And I'm going to put the towel over her head. And as I do that, all of a sudden she lies completely still, because now she's calm. As I said, I'm not a biologist, so I don't know how this works, but pigeons are calm when you cover their head. So now she doesn't move anymore. I hold her a bit between my legs. Now I have 2 hands free to work, so that's great. Let's see what else I have here. I have my pigeon etuietje. And I have small scissors with me. Tammy has a string, so I'm going to de-string her. If the string is a bit tight, I might spray it with some water first to be a bit loose. And I'm gonna, of course, I'm gonna cut it. I think all of it, really, it's not that difficult. There we go. Yay, I did it. Not done yet, because, of course, I'm going to put the string that I de-stringed, I'm not going to throw it on the floor. I'm going to put it in my Ziploc bag just to not have more strings here. And then I'm going to check if she's okay. She's okay. No open wounds. Good, good, good. Anything else? No. I'm going to give her a soft release. That just means I'm going to take her with the towel, put her like this, give it maybe 10 seconds, so if she's a bit dizzy that she's finding it. And then I'm gonna take the towel off, and she'll fly off. Yay! And that's the best feeling in the world, guys. Can I just tell you, it's the best feeling in the world after you've de-stringed a pigeon and you let it fly off. And it's such an amazing feeling. Wait. First, I'll show you the videos, then I'll tell you about the amazing feeling. I have a video to show you how it actually looks, because, of course, Tammy was very perfect as a role model. Please, can you go to the video? Oh, this was the slide supposed to be with Tammy. This is Jente. Thank you. So that's Jente. She's our star catcher. Jente is one of our volunteers from SOS Duif. We are like a core group of 8 people. And we have a network expanding and expanding. All of you, as I said, you don't need to have any qualifications. You just start doing it. And Jente is a natural talent. So when we have a difficult case, we're like, we should get Jente. We're going to go to the next video. That's me with a complicated string foot.
So we're going to try and cut a bit of the string because it's wrapped so tight around the toe that we can't just move it by hand. So we're going to try to cut it a bit more. If that's not working, then let's make a plan.
Okay, thank you.
As easy as the other one was, it's tough.
No, it's okay. So before we get to this is a final slide. First, I want you to check what you saw in the video. Maybe you saw what I did here. You saw how we were holding the pigeons. The case on the left was a very easy case, like Tammy, a very simple string foot. The case on the right was way more complicated. It was a string foot from the 2nd or 3rd category that we saw early on. So that was complicated. I had the pigeon on my lap, and what can I do? I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to operate her. So sometimes it's tricky. I guess you have a lot of questions. What to do if it's bleeding, or should I call the ambulance? For all these questions, there are answers on our website, and in a workshop you can learn all of that. Like an easy string foot, all of us can do it, but of course sometimes you'll see a pigeon with other wounds, a sick pigeon. So it's good to slowly get to know more knowledge about it. But the most special thing, and that's what I want to say, this is nice, but way nicer, is the feeling when you have a pigeon in your hands. And it really makes me emotional. I want to share that with you because I'm so grateful that we as humans have the power and the ability to change the life of an individual. If you feel their tenderness, you're very focused and you want to do it right, but you also feel something changing in your nerve system. They're so soft and they're so gentle, and they're just in your arms, letting you help them. And that's really beautiful. That has changed me, a thinker, always wanting to do it perfect, save all the animals from the industrialized mass murder that is going on every day, every second. And I know it hurts you as much as it hurts me. We cannot get them out. Not now, one day, not now. And that kills me and it kills all of you. So if we focus on that, we are victims. We are victims of that system in which the majority of the world is eating meat. And all those animals are locked up. But when we do this, we are not victims anymore, we are victors, because we have changed the life of an individual. And Tammy or any other individual is worth as much as that pig being gassed in a gas chamber, and is worth as much as me standing here or you sitting there. They're all worth to be saved, and by saving one of them, we made the first step until we have saved them all. That's what I want you to start doing, and that's how we can make it to a more inclusive, animal-friendly, and respectful world, by starting what we have right here in Amsterdam. They're so amazing. I became a bird lover. I hope you will all too. And this is the final slide. Now you can read it. And check if you can do something for SOS Duif, or please come to a workshop and learn all about it. And that was my talk. Oh, she's such a sweet pigeon. I might have overdone it on time. I'm sorry. So I don't know if there's time for questions, but I see a question.
Questions from the chat.
From the?
From the chat over here.
From the chat. Oh, that's so cool. I didn't know we have that option.
What causes this?
Sorry?
What causes this? The string foot.
As I said before, human trash. String foot is a modern disease. It mainly occurs in big cities. Doesn't occur in nature. Op de Bussemerheide of in de Veluwe, if you would see a pigeon, it will probably not have string foot. It's really a modern disease that didn't exist back in the day, because back in the day there were no nets, no synthetic threads, and no fabric markets with the amount of fabric that we have today. And human hair wasn't flying around everywhere. So it's a modern disease that you mainly find in cities. Pigeons do live in cities, not in the nature, because originally they are rock birds. So they like to sit in stony, tall things. In the forest, there's trees. That's not really their thing. But we brought them to the cities, and now they're stuck here in our trash. So stringfoot is a modern bird disease.
Is there another question?
Yeah, in the back all the way. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
Are pigeons able to live in groups within cities? Like, are they able to live in their normal family structure, or is that not possible?
Yes, they have their family structures, and they have partners, usually for life. They're quite monogamous. You cannot say always, but frequently. They're very interesting to study. They're so lovely, and they all have their own individual personalities. It's so much fun when a male bird is checking which girl he likes, and then he starts to do this dance. You know, it's so cool. And you can have so much fun also when you do workshops, because you get to know these individuals, and we think they're all just gray, but they're not. Some of them are white, some of them are brown, some have beautiful green in their neck, and you see all these individuals, but that wasn't the question. They live in their family and friend groups. They're called flocks, oftewel, meestal zeggen we flock. Also, when we do workshops, partially in Dutch, we do use the English word flock, and they are stuck with their flocks. There's actually specific flocks in Amsterdam, like you have the flock on Dam Square, and if you go there every day, you'll know your flock. You'll know, hey, that's that one, that's that one. They always stay in the same place. So the pigeons from Dam Square, you won't find them at Station Zuid. And the pigeons from Station Zuid, you won't find them at Dam Square. They are very homebound. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
I mean, also, like, do they sleep there as well? Like,
yes.
Do they have a home, somewhere on the roof?
Yeah, a homeless home. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Right. Thank you.
It was a lovely presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Two questions. One about catching them, and one about, if they fly away before you really get a good look at them, or how do you prevent those things? How do you catch them without hurting them? It seems that's something I find pretty difficult to do. And also, when I sometimes see one with stringfoot or that looks wounded, is limping, when I try to get closer, it's still good enough to fly away, and it's impossible to reach them then.
Well, when you do catch them, for 3 weeks I didn't catch the one I wanted to catch because I was too careful. And when I finally had it, I was so shocked that I let it fly off again. So then it took another 2 weeks to get it. It was at Station Zuid, which is a very bad place to start catching because it's way too crowded. Dam Square is way easier to catch your first pigeon. I've learned to use a tight grip. You cannot squeeze a pigeon. Well, probably you can, but you need to really overdo it. Like, get a tight grip, because they'll be like, oh, and they'll be calm. If you have them not very tight, they will start flying, and then you hurt their wing. So just get them tight. And you cannot really squeeze it, so don't worry about that. You can practice at home with your shoe. I've done that. Like, a sneaker is perfect, like size-wise, and just get there and just grab it as fast as possible. With 2 hands, it's a bit difficult, so you grab with one and press them down on the floor, and then immediately get your other hand with that, and then hold it to your body. They do fly off when they see you coming. So what helps is bring a lot of food, be generous with the food, and then more pigeons will come, and then they're busy fighting each other off and busy with the food, and then you can sneak up from behind and get them. So a lot of food and a big group of pigeons is very helpful. If it's an isolated pigeon, those are the most difficult cases, and I will actually call Jente because that's really difficult to get a pigeon alone that sees you coming and is just walking off, So that probably doesn't work, and you'll be very frustrated. So when you start, get a group of pigeons, get a lot of food in there, and don't be scared to have a tight grip. Yeah, which you can all learn in the workshop, because practice really does help. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Start catching.
So you, connecting to this question, like you cannot break their wings by holding it too tight or their ribs?
Probably theoretically it is possible, but from our experience as catchers and from other catchers who've been doing this longer, it has never happened. It's more dangerous to hold them not tight enough because they might let their wing escape from your grip and then you try to re-grab it and then it would break. So it is safer to just grab it really tightly. Of course, you're not trying to squeeze it to death, but just grab it tightly. Okay. Yeah.
And then how would you, I mean, maybe you will explain that in the workshop, but if it is one of those two severe categories, like would you still try to go kind of in with the, no, you just...
No, it's really a difficult question to answer. That's really something for in the workshops and on our websites. If you want to get started right now, I allow you all, if you have a small scissors and a towel and bird food, but only light cases. And that doesn't mean that the other cases are not important. Maybe they are more important because they're in pain, but they are more complicated. And once you get a pigeon in your hands, it is your responsibility. And then if you cannot fix it, you're screwed, right? Yeah. So I'm not saying, oh, they don't matter. They do matter a lot, but that's the next step. And if you want to get more into it, of course, we can teach you and inform you. We have informed ourselves. There's options, there's bird shelters, there's the dierenambulance. So there are options, but every case asks from you to really think, what should I do? These light string food cases, they don't require you to think. Get to know the birds, get their favorite food, talk to them. I talk to them like, hey, you know, just get into it, you know. So the light cases, and it prevents so much suffering. That's why I emphasize to start with the light cases. It doesn't mean we don't see the severe cases and that we don't want to help them, because those birds are really in pain. You can, if you see a severe case, you can always contact SOS Duif. You can send an email. It is also all written on our website because we do care about those as well. For now, see a string. If it's light, just do it. You can do it. Yeah.
Last one, I promise. I've seen you hold them with no gloves. Maybe it's an ignorant question, but we're really taught to think that they're dirty and that they bring a lot of diseases. Like, is this actually the case? Like, what is the worst case scenario? Or, I mean, it's not gonna stop any of us, I think, to do this, but just in case, like, should I wear always gloves, or why should I not wear
you should not. I understand your question completely. We have a tab on our website which talks about misconceptions about pigeons and if there are possible diseases. The short answer is no. They are not more dangerous or dirty than a stray cat or a stray dog. I guess you would help them too. So there's many misconceptions about pigeons. They could carry a disease, and you could lick your fingers after that and get something too, but you'll probably not die. So that's a big misconception, and they're not more dangerous or dirty than another stray animal would be. But of course they are on the streets. They probably carry a lot of bacteria, so that's why I bring my hygiene spray. And when I'm done, I spray my hands, and then, hoppa, case closed. So I'm not afraid of that at all. I do take my hygiene spray. There could be a little poop on them, for example, so that of course is dirty. But on top of that, they could have a disease, but there's not something like bird flu that you could capture and then die or something. That's a very common misconception. So thank you for that question.
Okay, thank you.
I've taken up quite a lot of time, so
we have time for one more question. Does anybody have one more question? And if not,
I do.
Yeah. Oh.
Hi, Nikki. It's me, Esther.
Hey, Esther. Nice to meet you.
I was wondering, have you ever formed a special connection with any specific pigeon through your work?
That's a good question. My first pigeon was very special. It was my most difficult one and my first one, so that's a very bad combination. It was on Station Zuid on platform 2. I've spent hours there. I just want to, yeah. And every time I would almost have her, a train would arrive and massive tons of people would get out of the train and then she would fly off again. So that was very frustrating. I didn't know anything about string food. SOS Duif didn't exist back then because me, together with a bunch of volunteers, started up SOS Dive last year, December. So I just saw this pigeon who had stage 2 string foot, as you saw in the picture. And I saw that there was blood, and I saw she was in so much pain. She was really limping and trying not to put weight on it. It was so sad. And I was just traveling from my home in Hoofddorp to my job at the Wieboudstraat, passing by Station Zuid every day. And every time seeing her, I was like, no. I didn't know anything about pigeons. And I thought, I need to get her and help her. So that was a personal connection because I saw her as an individual. Truth be said, it was because of the blood that I noticed her as an individual. All of them are individual, also if they don't bleed, right? So that made me realize that they're all individuals. So thanks to her, I also look at healthy pigeons and I see them. And I also look at all the animals and I see them, not only if they are in pain. So she's taught me a big lesson, also of endurance, because if you have never captured a pigeon, you don't know anything about pigeons, you can, for 3 weeks, every day, take half an hour on a platform on Station Zuid, and you have the pigeon, and you rescue her foot, you get her the right treatment, and you've saved her life. And the moment she was released was one of the best moments in my life. And from that moment on, I picked this up. So I guess all of your first pigeons will be special ones because that feeling is just amazing. I want you to think back of the first exercise when you are with an animal. And I think that's what we need a bit more, like have that connection, have that happiness, and from that strength, we can do all the other things that we do. The animal advocacy, the story of Alphonse, the story of Marloes, like all of those are so important, the things we do. And then maintaining that relationship with animals in our daily lives as well, by those animals we get to know. Yeah, thanks. All right. Hi, Penny. Sorry for the mess. Sorry for the mess. But I asked you, do have
Unacceptable.
a room, right?
Unacceptable. Nikki Wagner, everyone. Our next speaker is a food engineer. So, by the way, how's everybody doing? How's your level? Is it good? Yeah. Can we get a number from 0 to 10? How you're feeling? I mean, let's say it all at the same time, so nobody's singled out. Okay, 3, 2, 1, 8. Okay, love it. Most people said 7, a lot of people said 8. I love it. Okay. So our next speaker is a food engineer. She believes in that we can change minds, we can change brand of recipes called Inclusive Bites, and she's vegan, of course. All her amazing recipes are vegan, they're gluten-free, and they're inclusive for all. Please, Cadore Pimentel.
Just like this? Oh, I knew I was going to have trouble.
There you go. You can also attach it to your chain if you want.
To my chin? Oh, okay, that's nice.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I hope. Hi, everybody. Hi, hello. Oh my God, amazing presentations. And here I am talking about cake now. I'm still trying to regroup after your impactful. I'm like, whew. Now, so my name is Gabriella, and today I'm going to share with you a bit my story, hopefully inspire you a bit on how to find a sustainable way to advocate for animals using your skills and your abilities. And in my case, it's via cakes, vegan bakes. You can go to the next slide. So just a little bit about myself and how I got to this point. I turned vegan around 18 years old, but it all started when I was 17, and I started working at this non-profit, helping cats and dogs that were stray and living in poverty areas. And at that point, I met my first vegans. And they were quite intimidating. They were nothing but sweet to me, but I felt intimidated because I knew projects in the food industry. But I was not doing anything animal advocacy or animal, for the cause more actively. But then at some point, 2022, I got sick with COVID and I never fully recovered. It was really strange. I noticed I was in trouble when the flu symptoms were gone, but then I went there to just, fold a piece of clothing, and I noticed that my arm suddenly felt super heavy and I was dizzy, and my body was just acting extremely weird, and that went to get worse and worse and worse. To the point that some days I had like maybe 15 minutes of usable energy to interact with people or to just read something, and that was it, and I had to rest the rest of the day. So that was a tough period, and but little by little, I was recovering my energy, and it's coming back, and that I had a lot of time to think, right? And I was like, I realized how my energy, my time is so precious. When you don't have any, you start, realizing that more even. And just the thought of going back to normal life and spending all my hours in a job that I'm not 100% passionate, that is not, resonating with me so much, it was like, no, I need to do something different, and I need to use my time for something that I believe in, something meaningful. And that really took me back to when I was like, 17, 18, turning vegan, doing all the activism with my vegan friends. And I really wanted to go back and do something meaningful for this cause that is the closest to my heart. And at this point, I started thinking, okay, what can I do, right? I'm an engineer. I have skills on developing recipes. I know how to do a shelf life study or how to do a sensory test and see if, I have all the skills related to food. And I needed to do something that was also not stressful, because during my recovery, any sort of physical, emotional, mental stress was really bringing me backwards. So it has to be something lighthearted. And then I started playing with baking at home, vegan, gluten-free as well, because gluten was really making me a bit not feeling great at that point because of the COVID. And it was starting to be tasty. Yeah, I did some quite good things. I was like, okay, I think there is something there. And I decided, okay, I'm just gonna give it a try. Let's try a year or something and see, do I like doing this? Do people like my bakes? Where is this going? And you can go, thanks. And that's how Inclusive Bites was born. It's really a home bakery at the moment, and I started going to markets, to vegan fairs, and in Amsterdam, Utrecht, and people just really loved it. And you can go to the next one already. And so for me, I was almost a bit shy to say this is a form of activism or something, because it's just baking. But then I started realizing a few things. For me, the two main impacts with my vegan baking job, I'm going to share with you. The first one is about changing the perception about vegan food, because of course, veganism is not only about food, right? I realize I'm distracting you about this, right? I'm going to get there. I will read for you. No, so veganism is, of course, not only about food. However, we all know we eat every day. We eat many times a day. We eat when we're happy, when you're sad, when you're celebrating. It's a lot about food in a lot of situations, right? So if I could make something tasty and looking also really nice, and that people don't notice the difference, I think there is something there that could really be helpful for the animal cause as well. And then it's really important to change this perception, because people still think that veganism is restrictive, it's not tasty, this image is still very much there. And I wanted to show them that no, it can be done differently. And then here's just to illustrate about some testimonials from my non-vegan clients. I have a lot of them, by the way. One of them, after eating my bake, she would text me, this is really cute, that she was rethinking of becoming vegan, vegetarian, because the desserts were so good. And a few months later, she actually came to me, oh, you know what, I'm eating much less now. I think your desserts are magic. That's really what I'm doing this for. If we go to the next one, I have, these two people are also not vegan, and I have no experience with vegan cookies. And when I tried her cookies, I got addicted. The client, And then the client below, she's not at all vegan as well, but they had some celiac in the family, and they all tried the eclairs, and they loved it, and they come back with some amazing reviews. The next slide, thank you. The final one is just another client that, because her son was allergic to milk, she brings a cake to the party, doesn't tell anybody it's vegan, and nobody notices, because it's just a delicious cake. So nobody needs to, and if they knew, I'm sure some people could be like, oh, but when they try without knowing, it's just good. So that's one big impact that we can have, because that's a big excuse, right, from people when they, I'm not vegan because it's not going to be tasty anymore. So that's one impact that I have. And the next slide, please. Thank you. And yeah, the second is really making veganism more convenient. And I say this because you guys, me, we had the willpower to just go to places and not eat the vegan things available, travel, and it's hard, right? But not everybody does have the same willpower. So if we go and we do some street activism, which we absolutely need, every kind of activism, and then the person's like, okay, you know what, I see you, I agree with you, I'm gonna go vegan. Then they go outside their vegan bubble, and they're like, okay, but what do I eat? And everybody's judging me, everybody's like against this, and where do I go now? And we are really lacking the infrastructure to receive all these people after. And the thing is, most people will cave once they go out there and they don't have any support from a community and from also, again, infrastructure. Because not everybody will have the same willpower. And I think, yeah, the animals don't have time for that. We just need to make as easy as possible through all the ways, so making it convenient, tasty, and so on. Because if we wait for people to become vegan because of morals, we are gonna wait for a long time. So we gotta reach them where it resonates with them, right? And what I notice is that once people become plant-based in this case, for other reasons, right? Environment, health, and so on. When you talk about animal cruelty with them, their defenses are down because, you can tell me about animal cruelty. I acknowledge that because you're not attacking me. I am not eating meat, so yeah, sure, yeah, no, indeed. And then you start thinking because, yeah, their defenses are just not there anymore because they're not being attacked. And that really can bring them closer to the, moral side and really be open about this. So that's, I think, the main message that I wanted to bring you guys with this whole talk is that two things. There is always a skill that you have that is whatever it is that makes you happy and that you're good at that you can use to help animals. And we do need diversity. We need people that bake. Okay, we need people that, I don't know, hairdressers. We need people in politics writing books, pigeons, and in Kenya. Like we need all the different kinds of activists because different people will resonate with different approaches. And the moment we're out there, like taking the space and just being there, our presence is already impactful with people. They already feel like, And if they see vegans as the people that are not just isolated there and not interact with anyone and just eating bad, then why would they become vegan if vegans in their mind is just being isolated, not eating well, and just be, So once we occupy those spaces, we also send the image of, yeah, we are just like you, we're just kind to animals, and we can be here as well. I think, yeah, that's a main message. And then the next slide, please, the final one. Yeah, so about wrapping up about Inclusive Bites is actually growing into a physical store now. So you guys are more than welcome to come to Utrecht from January next year. So what happened is that there is a vegan bakery called Klutz. I don't know if anybody knows it from, yeah. So as per January, unfortunately, the current owners, they needed to stop for their own reasons. And I was chosen. I was very honored to be chosen to take over their bakery and then continue with the vegan mission of being, convenient, delicious, and all of those things to continue. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Any questions? Recipes I'm not sharing right now, but I can give tips. Yes.
Lovely work you're doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Was just wondering, do you have outreach conversations at your market stand?
Outreach conversations. It's just people that are
selling?
No, I'm not just selling. It's always nice to have some talks. Okay, so the thing is, now this picture you see written very big, vegan and gluten-free, but before I didn't have that, and it would attract more non-vegans. And they would come, they would taste, and they would be like, my God, this is delicious. And I was like, oh, you know what, it's plant-based. what? Are you serious? So there were all kinds of reactions, you know. So say no, some people would just be very surprised, and some people would say, oh yeah, I thought something was off. I thought the taste was just... I'm sorry, no you don't. But so there are all sorts of people. So if you see there's a little bit of a breach, you say, you know, yeah, that's our mission. We do this, you know, because it can be delicious. And oh, but what do you use? And so on. So that's a touch point. Because in my view, I think there are many touch points until we turn vegan, right? That's one touch point. They're like, oh, it's possible, you know? And that's just one little thing that adds to the point that, and for them to get there. So yeah, it really depends. But then afterwards, I changed to vegan and gluten-free to attract more of my niche because I was not attracting so much. And then I got less of the vegan. But with Klutz now, I'm not going to say vegan, and I'm going to get, again, all the people inside. So yeah.
So what you're saying is you're attracting more clients with the vegan sign
I
instead
am.
of just neutrally selling cakes.
No, I am attracting more. I would sell much more once I put vegan and gluten-free very big. However, that's not applicable to every context. Because if I'm in a market, there are like 60 other market stalls and people are just passing by for a second. They quickly scan. And if they see, oh, wait, I go for it. So I need to stand out and shout. But in a physical shop in the middle of the center, that you can take your time to build a clientele, the vegans will find you, the gluten-free people, whatever, will find you, then it's different context. And I think I have more impact not saying I'm vegan there, because a lot of non-vegans will come there and just eat delicious cakes, sometimes not knowing it's vegan, so yeah.
Yeah, so it depends on where you...
It really,
where
I
you're
would,
selling, yeah.
So it depends on the context, yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course.
Hi, I just wanted to ask, I love your desserts, I had it many times.
Oh,
but,
nice.
did you do like pâte à choux course gluten-free? Because I know it's like the most difficult thing is to make like beignets and eclairs.
Yeah, there are some courses. I did some courses. I'm multiple, by the way, so to learn something here and there, and then I put my own touch. But that definitely did some courses. I can share with you some after if you're interested. Definitely have some recommendations.
And are you planning to do some master classes or like courses at Klutz whenever you will be settled? Maybe?
Oh, that's an idea. But
Yeah,
first,
like-
I think I need to get there and start running the business and make sure it's running well. Yeah. I think my main focus right now is just make sure the business is running, and suddenly I'm gonna have like a few employees, amazing. Probably, I hope some of them are watching. No, but and I just need to make it work first because it's my first time running a whole ass bakery.
You can organize it, and then you just get the class.
Yeah.
And you arrange for the rest.
Yeah. No, yeah, but that's definitely an idea. Yeah, not at first, but yeah.
And I've never been to Klutz, but what's the concept of the bakery, and are you keeping that concept? Like, what kind of dessert are you gonna have? Is a bakery? Is like...
Yeah, so no, thanks for your question. Right now they focus on cakes and a very nice coffee as well, so it's really a coffee bar as well. I am keeping the concept of having cakes and coffee. I will slowly introduce my gluten-free version because they're also very tasty, and there are quite some vegans with gluten problems that they cannot find it anywhere. But it's gonna be a slow process because I also don't want people to get scared or something. But I'm sure they're gonna love it as well, and they're gonna come along, with me. Thank you.
Is there some economic benefit to make cakes vegan? Like,
Vegan. It depends on how the recipe you use. You can go very expensive, or you can make things from scratch. Depends on your baking style. In my case, I would say it's just more expensive because of the gluten-free part. The flour is just 10 times expensive. I like to use unrefined sugar because I think it's tastier. Much more expensive, unfortunately, but you can go cheaper with vegan. You don't need to use necessarily store-bought milk, for instance. In my cakes, I use water, and the flavor comes from other things. I don't use butter in a lot of cookies and stuff. Nothing against it. I use in other preparations, but for instance, on my cakes, on my cookies, I just don't use those store-bought. So you can have a range. So yeah, I cannot say yes or no. Depends on how your style, baking style.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of like supermarkets and so on, where
Mm-hmm.
if you could kind of give them a benefit for doing it that way, besides just catering to vegan people, that would be really awesome, you know, like having cakes in like supermarkets that
Yeah.
are all vegan by default because they would be cheaper or something like that.
No, yeah, for sure. There are some supermarkets are starting. See Jumbo, Albert Heijn with some vegan options, and they are quite more accessible. I think it's important to have all ranges of prices. Of course, supermarket when they're gonna make their bakes, they are gonna have access to different kind of prices of ingredients. That's why they can make it so cheap, and they make less profit out of those products and more profit out of other products, so they can afford to be cheap. So, for instance, I wouldn't compete with that. It's just I cannot, don't have the structure. But I think it's important that they have an offer so people with all budgets can enjoy everything, right? So yeah, and it is growing. I see more and more in the supermarkets as well. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I have another question.
Yes.
Actually. Do you use your food engineering skills when you started baking? Like, is that something that you really have to apply a lot, or?
I think it just gives me a lot. You don't have to be a food engineer to bake, that's for sure. But it does help to understand what's going on when I replace my, with potato protein, to understand how to build the foam and make it stable. How can I give the structure to my cake where I don't use eggs and the real flour? What can I use to replace? And just understand the function. To know the thermodynamics when I go to my oven and see why is this not working here in this oven, and what can I change? These kind of things, hygiene backgrounds, how to make tests and analyze the results in advance, not just like, I think is that, you know? So this gives me a good base. It's not necessary, but just gives me way more confidence and...
Very cool.
No. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, Gabriela Cadore Pimentel, thank you so much. And we have one more speaker, everyone, but unfortunately we cannot do this live. So I have to end this live, but before I end this live, I want to do a little bit of something with you because there's just a lot of you. So can you two come over here and sit on these two chairs, please? And can everybody just make sure that you're in view? Because what I would like to do is we're going to do a little bit of a small experiment. Well, small experiment, what am I saying? It's there's quite a lot of us. Life-changing experiment. All your lives will change. You'll become billionaires. I hope not, because we don't like the billionaires. So what we're going to do, let me see if I can zoom out. No, I can't zoom out, so I'm going to have to do it this way. Okay, so I'm going to point at you. And you, when I point at you on this side, you're going to say go. And when I point at this side, you're going to say vegan, okay? Okay, let's try it, okay? So, and then I'm just gonna end the stream for everybody. So we're gonna do it once for a demo. Go! And on this side? Vegan! Okay, love it, love it, love it. Okay, so before we end it, one last time. Go! Vegan! Love it, love it, love it. Thank you, everyone. Go vegan and, don't exploit animals.